Allah will complete His light even though the disbelievers hate it. And this is a promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to protect the prophethood of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to protect his message to the people, and not only that, to protect his religion, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He sent with the prophets which He sent them in this particular world. In fact, it is authentically established from the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, the example of what Allah sent me with in this particular world, in terms of guidance and knowledge, is the example of beneficial rain that falls from the sky and causes crops to grow. This is the example of me to be sent in this world. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was therefore sent purposely by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for one main reason, so that people, they would say that there is none to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was a message of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is the message which he came with, Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to this world. He was sent to uphold the truth and to crush the falsehood. He was sent with the clear proofs, with a wonderful and perfect religion, with justice and kindness, with peace and love, with safety and faith, with purity, prayer, charity, fasting, hajj and jihad, with the concept of enjoining good and forbidding evil, with noble deeds and good manners, and with uprightness and happiness. He was sent to disprove all forms of polytheism, to destroy all false idols, to eradicate ignorance, to wage war against falsehood and oppression, and to deter people from all base and vile manners. Anything that is good, he guided people to it, and anything that is evil, he warned people against it. This is why Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was sent to the people. When we look at the manners of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was amazing. His manners were different from any other leader when we compare to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Normally, we have mentioned before the perspective of the leaders when they come to this particular world. The first thing they come with the mentality of achieving to the status of powerful. Means that they want to be the powerful people more than anybody to that particular area. They want to have a good position in their lives. They want to have wealthy in their lives. So they know that if we become leaders, it will be easy for us to attain all these three things in our lives. And this is their main mentality. Their vision to the people who they are leading, it is just ending up in this particular world. Normally when leaders, they come to this particular world, or they come to the lives of the people, what they say? They said, we will make easy your lives in this world. We will give you good jobs. We will give you this, we will give you that. Maybe after 5 years, you will be among of the people who are driving such kind of cars. Each one of you will have your own houses. These are the promises of the leaders to their people. Will be schools, will be that. All this is good and well in the society. It is for the betterness of the society. But Prophet ﷺ, when he was sent, his vision wasn't in this particular world. His vision to the people was for the hereafter. He said, you people, you need to have a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then everything will be okay for you. Everything will be good for you. Hasan Basri rahmatullahi alayhi said, once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once you struggle for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to build your akhirah in order to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open for you the dunya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will open for you the dunya. Once you struggle for your akhirah day and night, then Allah, He will open for you the dunya. It is exactly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He just wants us to show Him that we really want to please Him and to do our best in our effort to please Him, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the end of the day will make easy everything, whatever we are doing in this particular world. And when we say that He will make easy our path of going to paradise, this means that even in this particular world, it will be easy for us to live. But what is the definition of easiness? Is the definition of easiness means having a mansion like a king? This is easiness. Is the definition of easiness having an expensive car? This is the easiness of life. Is the definition of easiness to be a rich person in that particular society? This is a definition of easiness. If we look exactly, we find out that happiness and comfortness of a person is not found in wealthy. It's not found in wealthy or a position or a status of a person in that particular universe, in that particular society. But happiness and comfort is coming from the knowledge which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He will give you. It's coming from the guidance which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He will bestow it to you. It's coming from pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because all these things that will come if you please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are sincere and humble enough to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is where you will attain all those things which I have mentioned before, which is guidance and knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Himself, He said, once you are sincere enough and struggle in pleasing Him, He will give you knowledge in your life which will benefit you in this world as well as in the hereafter. We will come next day, we will talk about the comfortness and happiness. But today I just want to give you the glimpse of the message which Prophet ﷺ he came with. This is a kind of message which Prophet ﷺ he came with. And this is a kind of message which is colonizing his leadership to the people, which gives us the perspective of his leadership to the people. Prophet ﷺ, his manners was superior compared to other people. And why he shouldn't be like that? Because he's a person who got the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His characters were rectified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was trained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was refrained in his characters by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As truthful human being, he is in speech. When he is talking, he is eloquent in speech. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq anhu, one day he was saying to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Wallahi, I didn't see a person who is eloquent in the speech like you, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the most righteous guided person. He feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most. He was the kindest of all people walk on the earth. He was the most generous of people. He was the most just of all people. And he was, in every other way, the most superior of all people. All of this was natural consequences of the Prophet ﷺ being nurtured, cared for, trained, and taught by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Results of his characters. After having a good characteristics, what were his results? And from it we get the lesson of a person having good manners for pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well as in his society. Because of his wonderful qualities, the Prophet ﷺ was near and dear to the hearts and souls of the people. Not only that, he was blessed, an easygoing person to the people, and yet he had about himself an aura of dignity and gravity that suited his lofty character. His face shone with his light of guidance. His mouth smiled with love. His heart was truly alive, and his mind was illuminated with elevated thoughts. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How kindful he was a dear person to the slaves. A dear person to the slaves. It reached a moment he said to his companions, whatever you eat, whatever you wear, whatever you possess, the slaves have the right to have them as you have it. This means that whatever you eat on the day, then this is what you should provide to the slaves. Whatever you are wearing, then you should give them also to wear. The treatment, you should treat them as you treat your relatives or people who are closer to you. This is how you should treat the slaves. He wasn't a person who is not fair or who is cruel to the poor people. Prophet ﷺ, he was so kind. And by the way, when you look at the Prophet ﷺ, we find out that he was so dear in such a manner that he loved to stay with the poor people. He loved to stay with them. He loved to have conversation with them. He loved to help them day and night. He was looking at them, cared for them. This is Prophet ﷺ. He wasn't a person who was segregating people. These are the rich people and those are the poor people. This wasn't a Prophet ﷺ. These are the manners that we should have it. When we look at the personality of a person, we should look at him with the kindness and the mercifulness to him in our eyes. And we should not look what he possessed in his life. Because this wasn't a vision of the Prophet ﷺ. Prophet ﷺ, among of his ability, he was a person who loved to make happy those people who are surrounding him. A person who loved to make happy those people who are surrounding him. His companions, anhu, when they sit near the Prophet ﷺ, they feel easiness in their lives. Not only that, Prophet ﷺ, among of his favorite signs, it was to make the people who are surrounding him to feel good and happy. He detested evil omens. The former, he ﷺ knew, prompted one to be positive and to act well. Prophet ﷺ, he will encourage people to do good things. Prophet ﷺ, he will encourage people to perform different kind of good manners for their own benefits in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was a person who will be easy forgiving people in one way or another. When people they are committing different kind of mistakes in their life, he will be the first person to forgive them. Prophet ﷺ, he was so generous to the people. And not only that, he was very kindful to the people. He was such kind of a person whereby if a person come and ask for the forgiveness for him or in front of him, he will be granted that particular forgiveness. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he mentioned Prophet ﷺ in the Quran by saying to him, if it wasn't your kindness to them and the manner of forgiving them, then it will not be easy for them to follow you. This is Prophet ﷺ. But how can we reflect his characters to us? How are we forgiving to the people who we are living with them in our surrounding? How can we be merciful to the people who are surrounding to us, reflecting according to the reflection of the characteristic of Prophet ﷺ? How do you expect people to love us, respecting us, treating us with the good manners, if we are not like that to them? And this is how Prophet ﷺ, it was easy for him to colonize and conquer their hearts in front of him. Whenever he go, people they will follow him. They love to be with him. Why? Because he is the beloved person to them. He is the most kindful person to them, the most politely person to them. One day, one of the Bedouin, he was saying in his salah, supplicating to Prophet to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying, Ya Rabb, I ask you to be merciful to me